Hey, everybody, welcome. It's Thursday morning. Faith and Community Focus is on the air. And where are we going today?
We are in Decatur today, in DeKalb County.
Yeah, Decatur is doing so many things right. I'm just so excited to have Decatur on. Let's meet who's going to be on today. My good friend and regular co-host of my radio show, Casey Boyce. He's our good citizen today. Casey, how's it going?
Good morning, Tim. Good to be with you this morning.
Yeah, and then we have Detective Benton for our human trafficking update. Detective, thank you for your service and thank you for being with us today.
Well, thank you for inviting me, Commissioner. I'm excited about it.
And Susan Kidd representing Agnes Scott College today, and I've been on their campus a lot over the last 10 years because they've really been leading the way with all kind of green technology. So we're going to hear about all of those because a lot of our audience, they've never been on the campus and they don't know anything about it. Susan?
No, thank you for having me. Thanks for coming to see us, and everyone else is welcome to come visit Agnes Scott College.
And Mayor Patty Garrett. Mayor, you're leading the city at this time, and you guys are doing so much. So I'm so excited to have you on today.
Thank you. I'm really excited to be here. And when you come visit Agnes Scott, you'll find that you need to wear a mask, and that we have had a really strong response to mask wearing. And I think our pandemic, our numbers we get numbers from our zip code in terms of numbers of cases and hospitalizations in DeKalb County and that sort of thing. And so we're really proud of the response of our citizens in Decatur in taking the pandemic seriously and in doing what they need to do to stay safe and healthy.
Mayor, I know as folks drive out of Atlanta, out on Ponce de Leon, and kind of get into the quaint city of Decatur, people that move to Atlanta and they think, they think of just the big city. And when they discover that little enclave out there in Decatur, it's just so great with the restaurants and the shops and just how quaint you guys have made the city.
Well, thank you. And it has been, it didn't just happen, it has been a result of planning and a lot of good people working really hard to make that happen. And we do have the restaurants and the small retail that we're proud of, but we've also put in infrastructure we put in bike lanes, we have sidewalks, we really emphasize walking and biking to school. And so that really are trying to do our part to keep our residents active, but also decrease our energy footprint by getting people out of their cars. We have some charging stations in 2 locations that the city has sponsored, and then there's some electric vehicle charging stations at Agnes Scott as well. So, and it's been pretty amazing really during the pandemic to see how well utilized they are and how many more people are investing in electric vehicles and recognizing that they can do a part in decreasing their own carbon footprints.
Yeah, Decatur has, I haven't done the count. Obviously, DeKalb County is one of the top 5 counties in electric vehicles, but Decatur proper, it wouldn't surprise me if there's more electric vehicles per capita in Decatur than any other city in the state of Georgia.
It would not surprise me either. And something else that we've done this year is we had solarized Decatur DeKalb 2.0. And I think one of your guests, our citizen guest today, Casey Boyce, put on solar during the first round of solarized Decatur DeKalb. I got solar this round, and the city and it was a city in DeKalb County effort, but I think the majority of the solar panels that went in under 2.0 were found in the city of Decatur. And we put in, I'll have to look and see, we put in 1,100 kilowatts in the city in this second round of solarized 2.0, and the city received a GFA grant to assess its city buildings for solar in last year's round of funding, and we've just found out that we've received a second GFA grant that will provide $200,000 for installing solar on our public works building, and it will include a solar array and a lithium battery as part of our resilience efforts to provide a backup for our command center. We have an auxiliary command center at Public Works, and so it will be 100 kilowatts installation at our Public Works. So those are some pretty exciting things that we'll be able to see. You not only when you go through Decatur, you'll see the rooftop solar on a lot of the residents, but we'll have some we have a small amount at one of our fire stations, but this will be a pretty significant investment in solar. So we're pretty excited about that.
Yeah, it's so important for cities to lead the way in this, right? I mean,
Right.
you know, you can buy the renewable energy certificates and have the virtual stuff, but the real stuff there for citizens to be able to look at it, and especially if you can put a monitor up right in the lobby and where people can see, or maybe they can even go online and see how their city investment is performing. And I think that's so meaningful. And just around the corner from you, you've got Emory University and Joan Kowal and everyone out there just doing an incredible job of adding solar. They've got very aggressive plans on that Emory campus.
Right. So another thing that we're doing is we are going to have a clean energy plan. We have put out an RFP for a clean energy plan, again, as a part of our sustainability and resilience efforts. And we're going to do a waste characterization study where the firm that is doing it will randomly select waste from all four of our streams, from our commingled recycling, from our glass recycling, our yard waste, and our pay-as-you-throw trash bags, and sort it and see what's coming into our, are we doing a good job with recycling, or are we throwing away things that could go in the recycling and that sort of thing. So that's pretty exciting.
Yeah, and let me commend you for doing that audit and for making it real. I know that there are jurisdictions out there in the state where people they think they're recycling and they're not really recycling. So thank you for doing that. And I guess your partner in crime, so to speak, Susan Kidd, is here with us from Agnes Scott, just right there across the railroad track, and Agnes Scott is just a model for clean energy and the way that it can be done. I mean, they've had solar on top of that parking deck. They've got that geothermal cooling that administrative building that they've then done all the energy efficiency stuff on. We're gonna chat with Susan Mayer. Thank you for being on Community Focus today. We really appreciate the job you're doing out there.
Absolutely, thank you.
Hey, Susan, we're bragging on you here, and the mayor and all you guys are doing. Tell our audience a little bit about some of the cool things Agnes Scott has done around campus.
No, thank you again for inviting me to be here to represent Agnes Scott College. And first, I need to say how critical a partner Decatur is to everything we do. And so you could tell there's really a tie between both our goals and our implementation, both on the college campus and with Decatur. So for Agnes Scott, we set a goal now almost, 12 years ago that we were going to be climate neutral or carbon neutral by 2037. So we're in a national group of colleges and universities who've made commitments to this. And so everything we do on campus is based on that goal, that eventual goal. So for us, it's been efficiency first, which I think is music to your ears, to PSC's ears. So first, we tried to reduce as best we could all our energy usage in our buildings, both electricity and gas. We have a green revolving fund, so we've put our own skin in the game with efficiency. We had donor funds that helped us begin to retrofit buildings. We've done all our light bulbs on campus as LED. We've also done a lot of water conservation work, and we've revolved now $2 million in this fund. We actually move utility savings to the fund to generate more money to do more efficiency work. And then that led us to the points you were making about renewable energy. So we've done 2 projects, actually. Geothermal, with the highest efficiency HVAC in the world, is geothermal. So we've done 2 geothermal fields, one for a 1951 building, 100% HVAC geothermal, and one for a 1905 building, which I think is pretty amazing to have geothermal for that building, 100% HVAC. So that gives us 10% of our million square feet on campus are in geothermal HVAC. And then our solar projects so far have been in the Georgia Power Advanced Solar Initiative. So they're investor owned and operated, but we're looking at some progression on our own solar as well.
Susan, I got an email yesterday from the Fresh Air Children's Camp on Tybee Island, and you'll appreciate this because you work at Agnes Scott and it's a women's institution. The board of directors for the Fresh Air Children's Camp is run by 50 women in Savannah, and I ordered an energy audit on this building, and what came back was awful. No insulation. This is a 1921 structure. No insulation in the structure at all. All fluorescent lights, all window units, horrible holes in the, in the wall and different places. I mean, they do this camp free of charge for children coming from Savannah, who can't afford it. And it's been going since the 1800s, this camp. And they got this building in the 20s when Tybee was like the West Palm Beach of the East Coast, before there was a West Palm Beach. But I really want to point to Agnes Scott with this group, and I'm going down there next week to kind of tour the facility and to start fundraising for them. But I would love to see, as we do some of these projects, some of the young women from Agnes Scott that have an interest in energy to come down and help us. How cool would that be?
That's a fantastic idea. And that actually points out several things. I mean, number one, it didn't set out originally to be a model of doing this work with historic buildings, but all of our work has been done with older buildings. And so we really are a proving ground. You can do that, and that you don't have to have deep pockets to do that. We don't have an endless budget. We've had to find ways to do it, like revolving our utility savings back in. And then the other thing is we've been designated as one of the most innovative liberal arts. In fact, #1 innovative liberal arts school in the country by U.S. News and World Report for 3 years in a row. So we love these innovative partnerships where our students learn on site and are able to provide social justice values. So that's an incredible idea. We would love to do that. Yeah.
Just a shout out to Rutherford and Laura Seidel, their family, John R., his wife Savannah, for their work there, because that was one of the first meetings I had. Was Rutherford was out there, and he helped y'all with that project on the soccer field, I guess.
Yeah, one of our larger solar arrays is Seidel Solar is the investor and part of the Georgia Power Advanced Solar Initiative. So, and that's a great one also for education, highly visible on the soccer field, lots of student interaction. And we monitor all those arrays, even though they're investor owned. We monitor the data on those on a regular basis. So,
and our next guest, his wife went to Agnes Scott. Casey, how cool are these things just right around the corner from you?
Oh, it's fantastic. I am a runner, and I run through the campus of Agnes Scott fairly regularly. And it always brings a smile to my face to see the solar up on the parking deck or out by the soccer field there. knowing that the geothermal is there, you wouldn't know it if you ran by it right now because it's a beautiful quad. But, I saw the progress when it was installed. Knowing that that's there is really cool. Agnes Scott is just a absolutely fantastic resource for the city of Decatur and for Georgia. I do have to say, Susan, this #1 innovative liberal arts college, congratulations to Agnes Scott. My alma mater, Colorado College, is #3 this year. So not that there's any competition between my wife and myself in terms of rankings, but congratulations.
Well, Susan, thank you. I can't wait to come back, and I really want to see if we can engage some of your students in this Tybee project. So I'll keep you posted. It'll be a fall event where we build their boardwalk for them from the camp down to the beach. And so that'll be something that young men and young women can participate in. It's not like we're building some giant building. It's just a lot of sawing, a lot of hammering, a lot of toting, and it's going to be a great thing. So thank you so much.
We're all in. Thank you.
Thank you. Hey, Casey, you look like a ventriloquist this morning, at least on my screen, because I'm not seeing you moving, but I can hear you fantastic. And you and I use this platform all the time for Energy Matters, but you're our good citizen today. So I want to just ask you about some of the things happening around Decatur. I know you have served on several boards. You guys have a great Decatur school system. But what are some of the community service projects that you've been involved with?
Yeah, so there's a couple that I have been involved in over the years. The first is the annual MLK Day Service Project. This is something that started out of the Community Center for South Decatur, which is in my neighborhood, the Oakhurst neighborhood. And it is an annual project over the MLK Day holiday weekend where volunteers get together and help out seniors who need home repairs or need yard work done, for instance, that may not be able to afford to pay for those things. And, those have been extraordinarily helpful to, help seniors stay in their homes. We've gotten the kids involved in Boy Scouts, and his scout troop has volunteered for yard work in the past. So that's been great. And there's been an energy focus over the past couple of years with weatherization and insulation and helping reduce the energy burden on those seniors. Another thing that I've been involved in is the Wild Center, which is an organization that runs community gardens in the city of Decatur and city of Atlanta. I think they've got 5 gardens, and they provide environmental education for folks and school programs, including farm to school programs that help kids, understand where their food comes from and try different foods that they might not have in the past. So really great programming over there. And then the mayor mentioned the Solarized Decatur DeKalb program. I was involved on the steering committee in both the first one in 2016 and the second one over this past year. Between the two, we've done about 2 megawatts of installed capacity in Decatur and DeKalb County, something that I'm extraordinarily proud about being involved in. And then, beyond that, for, the city of Decatur, it's funny because at one point I was making a comment at a city commission meeting and introduced myself. I was at that point the chair of the city's environmental sustainability board. And the then mayor said, yes, this is Decatur. Everyone's on a board or commission. So, Decatur definitely involves its citizens, but I've been on the environmental sustainability board, spent 8 years serving the community there, and have spent the last 2 years on the city's zoning board of appeals.
That's fantastic. Well, you can hear Casey every week on Energy Matters in 5 different Georgia markets and podcast anywhere. Just search for Energy Matters with Commissioner Eccles, and Casey and I do a lot of fantastic interviews with the brain trust of energy around the world, really. So, Casey, thanks for all you're doing out there. Look forward to visiting with you in person soon, I hope.
Absolutely. Thanks, Commissioner.
Hey, let's bring in our our detective today, Detective Benton. We put a focus every week on human trafficking. It's a sad thing that's happening. Lives of children are being ruined, and I know from having my own kids involved in law enforcement, including one of my kids that works in the Justice Department in up north. I won't say anything else about where she's working, but I know she's working in this area, and and I don't get to hear that many stories until they become public. But how difficult is it for you to see lives ruined out there? Is it tough on you just psychologically?
It absolutely is. It's an awful thing. I've got teenage kids myself, and to see these kids that just they get pulled into this life and get stuck there and held there. It's really tough to watch. But there is also, you get that kind of that bright side that we look for when we recover kids and rescue them, and they move on to to accomplish some things in their life. So that's also a positive note on it as well.
Yeah. Have you got a case that's been closed that you can share with us? Maybe our audience doesn't follow this as much because it doesn't always make the paper. But have you got a story you can share with us?
Yeah. So we here in DeKalb we take kind of a multi-pronged approach. So we do a lot of different things to try to combat this issue. But one particular child comes to mind. She was in this life for several years. She got pulled into it and was stuck in it for several years. And here recently, I've heard that she's at home. She's stable at home. She seems to be doing well as far as in school and things like that, and just seems to be on the right path toward recovery from the awful situations that she was in. And that's what we look for. We always want to recover the victims. We always want to put the bad guys in jail, but really what we look for is the recovery at the end, or the road toward recovery.
So Detective Benton, I used to be a forensic interviewer, and I know what you're talking about. You have such difficult cases, and really that one kid that made a recovery, and is living a life that they never could have imagined. Like, that's the reason you are able to keep doing the job. Sometimes it just takes one, and sometimes you only get one.
That's right.
One in a few. But that makes it all worthwhile, what you're doing.
Yeah, that's exactly right. It doesn't always turn out that way. They don't always head down that same path, but when you do see that one, or just one out of a bunch, it makes it all worthwhile. That's the ultimate goal, and it just makes it all worth it.
So, Detective, can you give us kind of people who aren't involved in law enforcement, who aren't familiar with the process, give us a basic overview of how you would handle a human trafficking case? Like, how do you find out what's going on, and then from there to the point that you turn it over to the DA's office? Kind of what's the overview of what you do? Yeah,
so we find out about them, from all over the place. A lot of times it's our uniform officers that are out answering 911 calls and out on the streets. They come across these victims and they refer them to us. We get notifications from different or other agencies outside of DeKalb. We're really working pretty strongly with different businesses to try to provide some training on especially hotels and that kind of thing, what to look for. And here recently we've had hotels be responsive to that and give us calls. So we get the cases from a lot of different places. And typically what we do with the first thing, we want to find the victim. When we hear about a victim, we want to locate the victim and pull them out, get them out of that situation. And as soon as we pull them out, we do our best to get them into different services that can provide them therapy and medical needs and all that kind of thing. So our first goal is to get them out of the situation and get them somewhere safe where they can, like I said, begin that road to recovery. And from there, it's a process. We start looking at different records, whether it be from websites or from businesses that the victim may have said they've been at. It's just a process, just gathering information and collecting evidence and building a case against these traffickers that that are out here, making a profit off these children.
Well, thank you so much for serving out there in this difficult area and for coming on today with us on Community Focus. We just want to continue to, to talk about this important issue and make people aware, that it's out there and it may not be in plain sight, but it's happening, and that we've got people like you that are busy trying to end it. So thank you so much.
Well, thank you. Thank you very much for just all the work that you do in bringing the focus of this. So we really appreciate it. Thank you.
So those of you that thought Casey Boyce was a ventriloquist, that he wasn't having to move his mouth to talk, we now know that you're really not a ventriloquist.
Yeah, I have not cultivated those skills yet.
I will say this, and it's got a little Decatur root to it. My wife, when she was 11 years old, was at Rehoboth Baptist Church over there, not too far from Decatur, at a service where they had a ventriloquist who was sharing about faith. And that was where her faith journey began, through a ventriloquist, believe it or not. So she went to Brockett Elementary, grew up not too far from Decatur. And then I wound up meeting her at the University of Georgia. I want to just say thank you again to each of you for being on the call today. Susan, thank you for your great work at Agnes Scott. Really appreciate that. And Mayor, hey, we're at your service at the Public Service Commission. You feel free to call on me. Tybee Island actually had me down, and I'm helping them get some chargers and a solar canopy. They gave me a key to the city. And it unlocks everything. It unlocks everything but the jail. That's what the mayor said. So Mayor Shirley Sessions, a good friend. Casey, thanks for all you're doing out there. And I really appreciate your leadership on energy matters.
Absolutely.
And Faith, where are we going next week?
So next week, we will be, next week we will be in Fairburn, and then the week after we'll be in Doraville, so back up in the DeKalb County area, and then the week after that we'll be in LaGrange. So kind of all over the state in the next few weeks.
We'll continue. Those of you that want to learn more about energy, I'm about to hop off this and hop on our committee meeting, which you can also watch online if you need a good nap. No, just teasing. Just teasing. No. We try to keep it exciting. All right, y'all. Thanks a lot. Have a great day. Everyone, enjoy this beautiful spring.
Thank you.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you very much.